complain on Twitter, their protest is a hashtag. You think when the band would come to town, they wouldn't go? You think if Courtney showed up and wanted to take a selfie with them, you think they wouldn't take that selfie?
Exactly.
Of course not. Because everybody lives in this high moral ground, but that high moral ground is nothing more than an anthill. Welcome to another episode from Takedowns to Breakdowns with A&P-Reacts, and the big buzzing topic on Twitter, on metal Twitter this week, is Spiritbox dropping out of an arena tour because fans kind of pressed them to. They pushed them against the wall, and they forced them to drop out of a tour with Falling in Reverse, and amongst other bands, but Falling in Reverse is the headliner.
It was also the main reason why they had to drop out.
Exactly. So, where do we even start with this? Okay, let's start off by the fact that they dropped out of a massive tour.
Arena tour.
Good decision, bad decision.
Bad decision. Dude, it's a bad decision band
financially.
And financially, because you already have gone through the stuff to set this shit up, and the outcome,
the potential gains that come from
not only the potential gain from said tour, but the doors it opens up for other tours like that. So the potential gain is all gone now, and that would have elevated Spiritbox to a whole new level. But they had to drop out. So I think
they didn't have to. I mean,
they technically also didn't have to. But what I'm saying is, as a band, this is an L. For the whole reason behind it,
I think it's an L because let's face the facts. As a band, before you accept to be on the tour, don't you know who you're getting on tour with?
Exactly.
And if you personally have an issue with any of the antics or any of the bands that are on said tour, then you have the option to say, no, I'm not interested. Never becomes public. Nobody knows the difference, and everything is fine. The fact that they accepted to be on the tour, the decision to be on the tour was theirs, and the decision to drop out was theirs and theirs alone. It's not like anybody's forcing them to be on the tour, and technically,
Twitter forced their hand.
Twitter forced their hands to drop out. But anyways, my point being is that the dropping out to me, it's not like they're dropping out because
they want to.
Exactly, or because they feel like, wow, we didn't know this.
We
didn't know this, but
bullshit.
Come on.
Bullshit. They probably got on the tour knowing the whole allegations and all this stuff and the rumors and all this stuff. They probably already knew. But
how do you not know?
Of course, because
how do you not know?
How do you not know? But I feel like they also were like, well, we're still going to go on this tour. It's a massive thing for our band. And if we don't go with them, it's not like the tour's not going to happen anyways.
I don't know. It just feels a little bit hypocritical that not the band, hypocritical from some of the fans saying, oh, kudos for them to dropping out. They're not dropping out because they discovered that somebody was...
Yeah, it's not the kindness of their hearts. No,
they dropped out because they were...
You.
Exactly. They were put in that position. I honestly...
Which I think is I think they shouldn't have...
It opens Pandora's box here.
Oh, of course it opens
not for other bands, but it opens Pandora's box for them. So, what next? Like, you don't like an album cover? Like, Twitter goes on a rampage about you change the album cover?
I was going to say, like, this whole situation not only has now... It's made bands more weary and scared now of their own community of fans, but... It's also seen how much power, especially the fans on Twitter, have.
No, because they give them that power. I honestly feel that a band should be managed from the inside out, not from the outside in, right? Decisions should be made by you as a band in terms of what's good for business, what's good for the band, and stuff like that. Now, one could argue that they felt that doing this tour now, based on the backlash, was not good for business, and it was not good for the band. But once again, you're setting a certain precedent going forward.
Yeah.
That, like, now what? Before you accept a tour, you're going to put a Twitter poll to find out if this is acceptable? Because, listen, guys, there's bands out there with suspect characters all over the place.
Exactly.
All over the place. I'm not here to judge people's characters or what has been done or not been done, because the way I look at this situation, and I'm not a fan of Ronnie Radke from Falling in Reverse. Far from it. I'm not a fan of the guy. But all that we have right now is allegations. Because to me, the way I look at it is very simple. If you feel like you've been wrong done by somebody, we have a thing called court systems. You go there. You file a motion, you sue somebody, you press charges, whatever it is. And if you feel like somebody's saying something about you that it's not true, you can do exactly the same thing. Go to court. But no, we live in a world where these bands and people who feel that we're done wrong by the band, and once again, I wasn't there. I don't know who's right and who's wrong, and I honestly don't care.
I don't like the guy anyways, just because he kind of...
He just picks beefs with everybody.
He picks beef with everybody.
He's like a butcher. He's picking beefs all the time.
You can't... We're just saying to...
All I'm saying...
We're outside voices, because we can also just say that he's a dick, because he doesn't hide it.
No, he is who he is.
He is who he is. And you know what? I kind of respect him for that, because at least he doesn't try to hide his dickishness.
No, he keeps it on the straight up.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say here is that, you know, there's so many... This taking it to Twitter, like from his side and the allegations and everything, this whole taking it to Twitter, it to me is like schoolyard shit.
Yeah, it's opening up stuff that could have easily been taken care of behind closed doors.
For me, it's simple. Somebody says something about me on Twitter that's not true, I'll slap him with a lawsuit. Simple as that. I'm not going to take it to Twitter and reply to their tweet and say this and say that and blah 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 blah. No, we don't live in a banana republic here, and I don't mean the clothing store. Like, I mean, there's legal places that you can go to file motions in order for stuff to either be decided one way or another. So, but we live in a world where it's more about the court of public opinion than the actual court.
Yeah.
And that's where these people are fighting these beefs, is in the court of public opinion. And because of that, there's camps, right? Some people made up their mind about who's right and who's wrong and who did what and who did what. And I guess the Spiritbox fans don't want Spiritbox to be tainted by the presence of falling in reverse on the same lineup as them. But like I said, show me a band that hasn't had like
a tour
something.
But show me a band that hasn't also okay. But then if you show me that band that hasn't had something, show me them on a tour
with somebody else who hasn't had something.
Exactly. Like come on. It's not only that. I feel like the fans are in a way kind of hurting themselves in a way, because I know for a fact, even if they still went on the tour, they're still gonna buy the tickets to go. It's not like they're going to boycott.
They can leave afterwards. Falling in Reverse is the headliner anyway,
exactly.
So you can just leave afterwards.
Technically, that's what most of Spiritbox fans do anyways. They come for Spiritbox and they leave.
Exactly.
We've seen that.
So
why are you complaining? You're going there, and you're not even going there for the band that you're scared to hurt your band. You're just going there for your band. So...
And you said it earlier. Ronnie Radke, you love him or hate him, he doesn't hide who he is. He says it out loud. Now he has a beef also with the lead singer from Monuments. I mean, I tell you, like, he's you know, like, this guy is like Mike Tyson in his prime. Like, just give me another fighter. Like, just let's fucking go at it. It's ridiculous is what it is.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing is ridiculous. It's what it is. But all I'm saying is he doesn't hide his persona. He doesn't hide his views of the world. Like him or hate him, he doesn't hide it, right? So I don't buy that Spiritbox would accept to be on that tour, not knowing who he is and what he stands for. So to me, when they drop out, like you said, they took an L. In my opinion, they took an L. Now the question becomes, how will other bands now perceive them when it comes to inviting them to be on other tours?
They won't, because this looks bad not only for them, because now it looks bad. You guys went on a tour and you only dropped out because your fans were telling you to. So it doesn't make you a good person for dropping out, right? You knew what you were doing, which I don't give to. Like, I couldn't care. Like, if they still went on the tour, I couldn't care.
I mean, I don't care about them either way anyways.
But get your money up. Like, that's just get your money. Like, bands need the money nowadays, so I don't care, right? It's not like it's a different scenario. If it was there's other scenarios where it would have been playing different. But I feel like in this scenario, they still could have pulled off going on the tour. And in the end, they're the ones losing. They're the ones losing, because the other bands are still going to go on that tour with or without them. They're going to get another band, and they're going to go on that tour and make the money that they're not going to make. Now, that looks bad on them. But it kind of still, from the outside perspective, if you're kind of wandering in the Spiritbox realm, it looks bad on the other bands for staying on that bill. So it kind of devalues them too. So some bands won't want to bring them on tour because something may come up and then now they're thrown under the bus.
Dude, it's not like they were going on a tour with Lotus Eater. I mean, like.
But that's what I was saying. I was saying that this situation they still could have pulled off going on the tour. But if it was a situation with like a neo-Nazi band or something like that, then one, they shouldn't have been there in the first place, and that's where I would call sus. But two, then it makes sense to go off because you're not.
So what's going to happen?
Even if you lose the money, it's fine.
So what's going to happen if they get booked on a festival with Falling in Reverse headlining the first day of the festival, and they are on the same day of the? So like, what are you going to drop out of the festival? Are you going to drop out? And
then, but then that comes back to what I was also saying. Then the people are the same people, those mole rats, they're gonna be like, hey, you know, our beautiful babies, you know, they pulled out, but these bands, why are they still on this bill? Let's cancel them next. Like, there's never, and you can't say I'm overdoing it with that because no, there's no end to other people's stupidity. So,
I honestly feel like there's going to be bands that might have. Not a dark shadow around them, but may have had some history of band members being involved in some allegations and things like that. And they want to move away from it. But will they invite Spiritbox to be on their tour?
No, because
now they can just drop out at any minute, and then you're left like it screws up the tour.
Not only that, you invite Spiritbox, and then you're asking for those same people, the mole rats on Twitter, to go into your history who don't know who you are. Go into your history, pull up the old stuff that you're trying to move past as a band, and then bring it out into the light again, like we don't already know it, right? So I think this entire situation is just a big L for everybody involved, but mainly Spiritbox.
I think everybody takes a little bit of an L, but I think they take the biggest one.
They do, because even the bands on tour, they take an L. I think that
because no, there's discussion about will Under Oath is another band on that tour.
Yeah,
and will they drop out? I mean,
but they're not. They wouldn't have dropped out if Spiritbox didn't drop out. Now they're thinking, fuck, if we don't drop out, we look bad. So, like I said, this is an L that Spiritbox takes, a big L. But each band are taking their own individual little L's, because if they now...
With the outside of Falling in Reverse, they're the headliner. I mean, who's going to see them is going to see them regardless.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is each band left are taking their own individual L, and now they're put in a situation. Okay, do we continue doing this tour? We know what we can do. This is a big opportunity for us. You know, the fans may be mad now, but to be honest, they won't be mad.
Maybe later. They're not.
Maybe they're not. But we can't. You have to look at it. Okay, do we fall to the Twitter trolls and drop out, losing our money, losing all we've worked for, all this shit? We lose it because we're kind of getting peer pressured to leave, or do we just go on tour and do what we were gonna do? But that's the L. Is you're being put in that situation, and no band wants to be put in that situation, because now you're being put in between making money again after so long of so many bands not being able to make money. You're put in between making money and trying to please people, right?
Maybe a fraction of your fans, because I mean,
not even your fans.
You know, it's just
not even your fans.
I honestly see this whole situation. I just honestly feel like there's a Pandora box that's been opened here. It's a dangerous one to open, because once you cross that bridge, it's kind of hard to not expect that the same situation may happen down the road again.
Down the road to other bands.
Or to them again. On a different situation. You know what I mean? So,
the fans may be, when it comes to music, fans are very important, but fans shouldn't have the most control over your band. I'm completely honest with this. It's kind of like
that's what I said. The band should be managed from the inside to the outside, not from the outside to the inside.
Of course, I think your listeners definitely, they should have a right to voice their opinion, and you also have a right to take that opinion in.
By the same token, we live in a free society, and unless you've been charged and found guilty of whatever the charges were in the court, everything is nothing more than allegations. And now, okay, you could also say that certain things are not allegations because he's been vocal about his views on certain things. But at the end of the day, I may not agree with his views, and I don't agree with his views, but I have to respect his right to have the views that he has. I mean, I can't censor people. I don't care how much of a dumbass you are. You have all the right in the world to be a dumbass.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, and then I have the choice if I want to hang out with said dumbass or I don't.
Not.
But if I do, then I also have to understand that some people now may also see me as a dumbass because I'm hanging out with a dumbass. So I honestly feel that sometimes you have to make the right decision, and in this case, I don't think they did the right decision. Financially, for sure, they didn't do the right decision.
For sure.
But in terms of where they put themselves and how more vulnerable they are for this situation to reoccur in the future, they definitely didn't help themselves. And like I said, as a band, I'm not gonna agree, or as bands, I have friends that I don't agree with certain views that they have, but they're still my friends. I don't shun everybody who doesn't agree 100% with every single view that I don't care how wrong their views are. They still have the right to have that view, as long as the view doesn't become something that becomes hurtful towards somebody. Like, you know what I mean? So, but in the Twitter world, everything is either black or white. There's no fucking gray.
There's no gray area.
So, and when you're born into that generation, which Spiritbox is, not as much Falling in Reverse, but Spiritbox definitely. So when you're born into that generation, when you create a fan base online, when you create a fan base of simps that are part of that generation, that's kind of what you got now.
Yeah, I also feel like if you have those type of simps, are they really going to care that you went on this tour? They may voice their opinion that they're mad, but when you go on the tour, they're still going to buy the tickets.
Of course they would.
Like, come on.
Because people who complain on Twitter, their protest is a hashtag. You think when the band would come to town, they wouldn't go? You think if Courtney showed up and wanted to take a selfie with them, you think they wouldn't take that selfie?
Exactly.
Of course not. Because everybody lives in this high moral ground, but that high moral ground is nothing more than an anthill.
Exactly. They have a big persona online, but
in person
they fold like a wheelchair. Like a wheelchair. They fold like a chair.
I hope the wheelchair. Well, some of them fold.
Some of them do fold,
but not while people are sitting on them.
Hopefully. But yeah, no. A lot of them are very weak in person, but very big balls on the internet. I mean, you'd have these people say all this. Oh, you're not supposed to. Don't go on this tour. But then they come to their town and they're the first ones in line.
I just want to finish this video on one note too, because a lot of bands have been vocal in support for Falling in Reverse and dissing Spiritbox for that move. Most of those bands are bands that probably would want to go on tour with Falling in Reverse, so they don't want to rock that boat. What I find it's very funny in the music business when it comes to these kind of feuds is that you have the bands who want to take Spiritbox's spot and are being vocal against Spiritbox and are friends with the guys from Falling in Reverse, so they're falling into that camp. And then you have the bands who are just not saying anything at all. Yeah. Bands who also tour because they're like, well, in the future we want to tour with both of them, so I'm not going to take any side whatsoever. So I'm just trying to keep my mouth shut.
That's why Spiritbox took the biggest L. That's why they took the biggest L. Because you're not safe to be on their side either.
No! Right now it's not safe to be on anybody's side.
Technically...
Well, more on one than the other.
Technically, it's safer to be on Falling in Reverse's side than it is to
I haven't seen a single band come out and support Spiritbox for what they did. I think that speaks volumes.
But I wouldn't support them either, to be honest with you, because we just explained that they wouldn't have dropped out if it wasn't for
pressure.
The pressure, meaning
so it's not like they dropped out because of moral standards.
Exactly, there was no moral standards to be had. They only
otherwise they would have been there to begin with.
Exactly, they only dropped out because people were telling them to drop out. So when you go out and support Spiritbox on their decision, just know that it's technically not their decision. They made the decision to drop out, but in a way they didn't make that decision. They were coerced.
They were coerced to make that decision.
To making that decision. So, I
find funny that some of the things they're complaining about Falling in Reverse frontman, his attitude, his demeanor towards women and whatever. I mean, you guys technically are doing some of the same shit to your own band by coercing them to drop out of a tour. Think about it. I mean, you can really put it into those terms. You're not that much better than the one that you're fighting against if you're using the same kind of weapons and techniques and agendas.
Guess who you're hurting in the end? You're not hurting Falling in Reverse.
No!
You're hurting your band. You're hurting Spiritbox.
But for me, they were already an L. So this to me just confirms
the thing is, I enjoyed Spiritbox up until we saw them live, and their live performance wasn't that good, so I kind of like fell off the bandwagon.
I was never.
I was never on the bandwagon. To
I liked the song here and there, but I was never like to me, they were super overrated.
Exactly.
They were the band of the moment, and like anything, the higher you go, the bigger the fall. And they climb fucking fast and they climb fucking high, and good for them for doing so.
Arena tour opportunity.
But I just
I think this is the downfall.
And I'm not saying this because I'm not a big fan of theirs. It's just I think this is an L. Just
no, come on. You have to be even if you like the band or don't like the band, it doesn't matter. This is an L. You're losing your money. You know, you're losing the possible revenue in the future. I think as a band, this is a big L. And I feel bad for them, kind of, but at the same time, I'm not gonna cheer them for dropping out.
Because I said I was going to finish before, but let me finish with this now. Their statement was, we're dropping out of the 6 shows on this tour, because there's only 6 shows or whatever, or 6 shows that they were playing in. That's it. No explanation, like nothing. It was a very lame thing to do.
I bet you
of course they're not happy. Are you kidding me?
Like,
of course they're not happy about it. But they don't have the balls to stand up and say, "Listen, we're gonna go on this tour.
And you're gonna like it or not.
And if you don't like it, don't come. And don't just as simple as that. Like whatever. I don't know. When you as an artist. I had this conversation with D. Snyder when I had him on our own channel, A&P-Reacts. You guys should go check it out. When you as an artist to start to think, what will my fans think if I do this, or if I say this, or if I create this song, you're not an artist anymore.
You're a puppet.
You're a puppet at that point. You have to have autonomy to think for yourself, create things for yourself, be who you are, and then those that want to be with you on that journey, they'll be there. And those that don't want to be there won't be there. They're catering to the masses. And I don't even know if it's the masses. It's just the loud few on Twitter.
It's the loud few. I bet you it's like these people also probably didn't have a spot on the tour. Like they didn't have their town on the tour. So they were like, if I can't go, nobody can go.
I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. Anyhow, man, we're putting it down. Spiritbox is taking an L on this one.
Everyone takes an L in this situation. Everyone is taking an L, but Spiritbox is taking the biggest L in this one.
All right. On that note, we'll see you all next week with another video.
See ya.